Dolphins just do it for Miami Dolphins.
The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it!
You have got to be kidding me.
Jalen Waddle. It's a Dolphin touchdown.
Throwing deep upfield on the near side. Man open. Touchdown! Looking deep. He's got a man. Touchdown!
The run from Tua Tagovailoa.
Touchdown!
He's going deep. He's got it for a touchdown.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan.
Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Resign. And you know it, we are back here for another one. I appreciate each and every one of y'all coming out tonight. Shout out to the homie Griffin Gaming. He got the $10 donation. He said, unrelated to the Fins, but appears the Rage Against the War Machine rally in the U.S. held by few of the larger third parties this past weekend was a success. Wish I could have gone, but thus is life. Didn't even know about those rallies, to be honest with you. When I first glanced at your donation, I thought it was a Rage Against the Machine comment, the singer. No idea what's going on. All I know is, as a Canadian looking down south at what's going on, the U.S. is going to hell in a handbasket right now. And bro, listen, I believe in a higher power. I believe in all that. But after watching the Grammys, I'm another Grammys, it was one thing when I had to see Nicki Minaj go on as a Red Witch with the Pope and her and Madonna do basically this freaking, passing of the torch from witch to witch over there. Now we're in the straight, satanic freaking performances by Sam Smith. I don't know what's going on, but I'm another Grammy performance away from picking up a Bible and becoming a Christian. Jesus Lord. Anyways. Enough of that. Fin Nation, what's good? We are back here for another one. Shout out, as always. I need y'all to go show them some love. They just passed 1,000 subs. FinHub, man. I want y'all to realize you've seen them come on the scene recently, and we've been working together for quite some time. If you've been following us on Instagram, you've seen it for quite some time. Us and FinHub. Bond, that's my dude right there, Joey. That's my graphic guy. That's my homie right there above all else. You all go over there, smash that sub button, go show them some love. Man, this is how we breaking it down, man. PhinsideTheNFL.com. You can go find merch. You can go find some FinHub blog posts over there as well. On top of that, if you want great videos to watch that are going to entertain you with information that you can get in and get out in 8 to 12 minutes, FinHub is a place for you. And then when you need those in-depth analysis, when you need that show, when you need that podcast, when you need that film study, when you need those in-depth breakdowns, and you need to hear the voice of reason, you come to Phinside the NFL. So that's how we're doing it, man. That short, quick-hitting format, you go over to FinHub for the shows, for the episodes. You come here to Phinside the NFL. So go show FinHub some love. Go smash the like button on all their videos. Doing great stuff over there on FinHub. That's my boy right there. Shout out to the homie Joey. Shout out to Kevin. Those are my guys. Griffin Gaming, he says, Canada will be joining us soon, Reason. Man. Canada will be joining us soon, Reason. Well, God, I hate Justin Trudeau so much. Shout out to all y'all who just subscribed and showing some love over there. Joey, all I know is right now they expect to hear you on the phone and you to sound like, you got that voice. Shout out to Cruisin' Rum. He says, I won't be surprised if Tua requests a trade. Miami's committed to him, then sign him to an extension. Things could get dicey. Tua has to protect himself. Man, you know, we're gonna get into that, and because that is a portion of it, but I think, you know, this is going to be an agency that's going to be about, you know, athletes first for real. They're going to be about protecting their athletes, their guys. And, I mean, you know, as the story has unfolded, and I'll play a piece here from the Joe Rose show where Florio was on in just a sec, you could tell it was starting to unravel a little bit. You know what I mean? You can tell those agents, they ain't having it. If you're going to speak down on one of their clients, it will affect your relationship with all of their clients, not just one. They're really living by their moniker of athletes first over there. So we'll get into that. We'll show all of y'all that. In terms of Tua requesting a trade, I do not think Tua is going to request a trade. All right. You know, I don't see that happening. Tua's their guy. Tua loves the situation. Honest to God, if you want my opinion, Tua's going to make this situation work. Right? If Tua stays healthy and balls out this year, I still don't think he's going to bust the bank on us. Shout out to the homie Bobby rolling through. Appreciate you, Bobby. I still don't think he's going to bust the bank on us. Right? Good point to mention out right now. 200 of you in the chat. All my Patreons. All right? Because there's like 250 of you. 230 of you. Something like that. All my patrons, I will be having an update tonight for all of y'all and all my channel members on the community tab. Tonight there will be an update coming for all of you. The right tackle situation and some safety talk expected to be in this update tonight, all right? I got flooded with information this morning by multiple people. So we got some safety talk and we got some right tackle talk coming in for Patreon only and a YouTube channel member only update tonight. So if you're a YouTube channel member, check the community tab later tonight. If you're a Patreon, you already know the deal. It'll be right on the Patreon. So patreon.com/Phinside the NFL. Also, you can click the join button, become a member. Each tier is like $2 at minimum to join. You can join Patreon for $20 for the full year. You get a special discount if you join a tier for 12 months. You get a discount. So hey, there you go. And I drop Patreon only exclusive videos as well weekly, and I'm going to be growing that as well. I'm still trying to figure out what I can do for YouTube channel members. I want to add more to YouTube channel members. So more content coming for everyone. You already know what time it is, baby. So, and also for everyone, don't matter whether you're a Patreon, whether you're a YouTube channel member, whether you're subscribed, not subscribed, if you get YouTube on Mars, this will work for you. I'm going to be starting shorts. All right? I've narrowed down my idea. We're going to be getting into the short game real soon, too. So be on the lookout for your Phinside the NFL shorts are going to be coming. I've figured out what I want to do. So we're going to be doing that. All right? So channel update, channel update, channel update. Smash that like button if you're here. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to hit 11K. We're about 250 away from 11K. So let's get there. All right? I'm late. What's up, Reason? We're about to get into it. Dano Tua is still my QB. Kevin asked, let me see, where's Kevin? Because he got a good question. Kevin asked, what's the difference between Ring of Honor versus Hall of Fame membership? Your heart. What do you think about Miami being a landing spot for Jalen Ramsey? I'm going to tell you this. There's my homie. There's a homie. Shout out to Richmond Webb. Everyone, right now, if you are a YouTube channel member, you need to pound the chat right now. You got access to emojis. I need to see Richmond Webb Hall of Fame emojis in the chat right now. Slap them through there. Drop the link for the Patreon. All right. All right, there's the link for the Patreon. All right, back to what I was going to say. What do I think about Jalen Ramsey? I think they would spend money. I think they would spend money on a safety before they're spending big guapola on a cornerback, if you want my honest opinion. So that's where I think it would go. I think that's where the money would go. Would I take Hendon Hooker in the second round? No, I'd take him in the 3rd though, but he won't be there. That 51st pick, like people are. Why is everyone infatuated? Let's get into a little bit of a rant for you. Why is everyone infatuated with taking a tight end right now? Are you serious, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages? Okay, we need another safety. We need a right tackle. We need a left guard. Guess what? As much as people don't want to hear this, until Connor Williams signs an extension, we need another center in the building because we don't have his successor in place, let alone if he gets hurt, we don't have someone in place because they clearly don't trust Dieter. All right? Did I say left guard? Well, I'll say it again. We need a left guard. All right? We don't have a single running back on the roster other than Alec Ingold, who's a fullback. That linebacking core needs to be rebuilt. And that linebacking core, I've been saying this time and time again, they're going to double dip. They're going to go in free agency and they're going to go in the draft linebacker. I'm telling you right now, listen. You go get a Levante David. You go get a Tremaine Edmonds. Hell, you go get a Jermaine Pratt. And then you turn around and you double dip. And you go get a Jack Campbell, maybe a Henry, Tutua, sorry, I always hate pronouncing this guy's name. Tutu, whatever the hell it is, the linebacker from Alabama, another name where I can only pronounce it when I'm reading it in front of me. You go, someone like that falls to you, because I don't think Noah Sewell's falling to us. Hell, if Noah Sewell falls to us. Yeah, I know, Tua, bro, it's just Owen. You know, I like Owen Papo too. I took him in one of my mock drafts. I'm a big fan. Yo, brother, never trust like PFF in your mocks and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? See, I don't know what we don't need it's like Sanders, right? I know a lot of people have said Drew Sanders. We don't really need a Drew Sanders. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have needs, like if I didn't have seriously pressing needs, yeah, I'd take Hooker in the 2nd as an option. He's also 25 too, right? Shout out to Griffin for upgrading to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, his lateral movement is but I don't know, man. See, I think, you know what, we're in the stage with Noah? Overanalyzation. Sidney Brown from Illinois, right? Battle's a beast. Yeah, Battle's a beast. Man, I'm telling you, I want a linebacker or a safety or and I'm an offensive guy. Or like everyone knows, man. Darnell Wright's sitting there. Please, Lord. Please, Lord. Man, Juan Thornhill is sneaky. I don't know, man. He didn't make my free agent target list because there was 20 players. I went to 20 players and he didn't make it. And I'm regretting it. I'm wondering if I got to hit up my boy and say, hey, we got to slide him in there. You know what I mean? Oh, it's not on subscriber mode? Thank you for reminding me, Turbo. I appreciate you. Now I get to change that. I mean, if it's that big of an issue to click a button and subscribe, I mean, I got to question what your motive for being here is. So with that, thank you for reminding me. I mean, I'll give you 1 second to tell me your motive. If it's good, I'll keep it off. If it's not good, bye, brother. Griffin Game was like, R.I.P., brother. R.I.P. All right. I'll do the countdown. I'll let the chat do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown. Hey, Reason, over under. Oh, don't worry, I'm not a troll, but then why wouldn't you subscribe? That makes me wonder. Hey, Reason, over under on 10 with Tua hip tossing defenders coming at him with his judo training. I mean, let's do it. Rhino, bro, you're the manager. You have the power. Okay, no, you don't. No, not on that one. The manager showed up, and the manager just counted out. Do I think? Well, bro, listen, I'm waiting for the moment. Judo chop, right? I want that Austin Powers judo chop right to the neck of a defender. right to the neck of a defender. Just put him and I want to see, and then just like fall over, just like body goes straight into shock and it's a wrap. That's what I'm trying to see with Tua and the judo. I just like, bro, am I the only one who wants to see a Tua Tagovailoa judo touchdown celebration? You know what I'm saying? Like, this man better get in the end zone and do the crane on the football. Like, I'm telling you, that's what I want to see. I want this man just to mock everyone and do the straight up crane, bro. I want some Karate Kid. Yeah, he'll just bow, brother. I need him at one point, just as a gag, because I'm the type of guy that I would do this because I'm petty. Yo, there'd be a one point where I'd be waiting for the cameras, and I'd be taking that helmet off, and you'd think I'm going to have a headband on, and then I shake my head in the wind with the sweat, and you see the back of the ninja bandana. I don't even know what they're called, bro. So you see the back of that ninja just fluttering in the wind. I'd make that my freaking profile picture. Are you kidding me right now? How low can I go? Pretty low. That's what I'm saying. Judo chop to Chris Sims for. Oh my god. Oh, shout out to Turbo if he's still watching even after subscriber mode. I appreciate you and I appreciate your dedication to continue to watch and not hit the subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. Bro, people are next level out here. I love it. It's hilarious. All right, let's get into this. To his agents. Let's play the clip here. We were all speculating. A lot of people were blaming. I still meant everything I said about Joe Rose. I retract nothing. I meant every single word, and I'd say it all over again. Yo, judo chop Liam and AJ every time they hold. You got it. Green Rat says give him 5 minutes. Listen. Shut up. What's up, Angel? I stand by every single thing I said. Every single word of it. Stand by it all. And we're gonna get into it here. Let's just play what Florio said, and then we'll go from there, okay? Because there's a lot to break down. All right. So check this one out.
To get to Friday, you're gonna have Tua Tagovailoa come on your show. I know we talked about it. I heard a bunch of what happened. What was the reason? You're right. It ended up being really, really bad.
What just happened?
God, Mike, we got so much stuff to get to. Friday, you're going to have Tua Tagovailoa come on your show. I know we talked about it. I heard a bunch of what happened. What was the reason you end up not getting him?
Well, it had nothing to do with Tua. He did not turn us down. He did not fail to show up. It's a bigger story. It's a broader story, and it's something that I'm trying to work through behind the scenes. It has more to do with the agency that represents him now than it does him. I'll just leave it at that. But it wasn't like he said, I see these two buttholes. I'm not going to be on their show. I mean, we were locked in. It was set. It was good to go. But apparently someone from his agency became aware that he was going to be on, and it has more to do with one of the specific agents and something that was said about one of the agents at one point that apparently has become an issue, and that's something I'm trying to work through. And I prefer to work through it behind the scenes, but I also want to be transparent about what happened. This wasn't Tua. This was the fact. And if he hadn't changed agents from Lee Steinberg to the firm he's currently with, he would have been on. This is more about agent retaliation for something that was said about him on one of our shows. Yeah, and I'm not saying he's wrong to be upset. I'm trying to work it out behind the scenes, and hopefully I'll be able to.
Yeah.
All right. Let's break this down. First of all, TE, shout out to you in the comments section. And shout out to you for going to war. And, I mean, you're a better person than I, because I won't waste my time on people who buy Twitter followers and YouTube subscribers. Absolute frauds who came out of nowhere because they were literally purchasing subscribers and followers. You're a better person than I am, because someone like that isn't even worth my time, TE. So shout out to TE for being a better person than I am because people like that ain't worth my time. Number 2, Mike Florio is a clown. All right? This is karma. This is all coming back to what? They spoke on Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's agents represent who now? The irony. Tua Tagovailoa. All right? That's who they represent. Tua Tagovailoa. And that's where a lot of this issue is coming in right now. Right? They are still bitter because and rightfully so, Flores is a piece of trash. And now it's biting him in the ass. And if you go back to it, right? That's why they said Tua has nothing to do with it. But they've said stuff about Deshaun Watson and his situation over the past year, and the agency is not happy, and in retaliation, that's why apparently Pat McAfee's the same thing too, falls under this category. So, these agents ain't a problem for us. Read the title. I just didn't have enough characters. They're a problem for the media. These guys are going to protect their players. Athletes First is literally the name of the organization, and who's going to hate on them for living by the motto? We all know, listen, at the end of the day, are Florio and Chris Sims even deserving of having Tua on after all the stuff they've spewed about them? And all these people out here, it's going to hurt Tua's image. Oh, his PR team, what a disaster. Again, those people who like to pay for YouTube followers, add nothing to the community, have as much my shoe has more knowledge about the football game, about the game of football than they do. All right? Out here trying to cause these crazy narratives, these dumb narratives. Unbelievable. And it's not okay. Like, all these people too, clickbaiting off to his name. It's unbelievable. All right? Like, so they're and look at, again, they're not even doing it because they talk crap about Tua. They're doing it because they talk crap about one of their other players. Right? Listen. This is why I've always told everyone here. You gotta, when it comes to criticizing players, like on your team that you cover, you gotta walk that fine line of critiquing. You don't think football organizations move like that? I'm gonna tell you this right now. There's people out here in this community that they get off on trashing Tua. You don't think the organization sees it? They ain't going to be nothing more than people on YouTube or Twitter because of what they say about players, specifically Tua. It's okay to critique him. It is okay to critique Tua. But when you start making it personal, when you start criticizing, when you start taking legitimate shots at the kid. Because I've been told, listen, when I started this in 2019, I'll tell y'all a story. We don't want to know one of the reasons why I started this channel. You want to know the true reasons of one of the started this channel? And one of the reasons me and EM Dolphin fan separated ourselves from the Tuesday night panel? You want to hear one of the realest things you'll ever hear? Because early on, I had someone in the organization tell me that they were watching that stuff. And I was told to separate. I was told if you want to be more than just another guy on YouTube one day, you can't roll with that. And that is honest to God truth. Y'all can go ask EM Dolphin fan. You can all go ask the EM Dolphin fan. That's as true as it comes, man. Real talk. That's as true as it comes. And that's why, listen, if you listen to how I was about Josh Rosen, people got it skewed. right? What would me and EM always say? We critique the hell out of Josh Rosen, of the player, but what would we always say? Right? That's where EM started coining the phrase. He was the first person I ever heard use it. When he said, I don't know him from a can of paint. We would make sure to distinguish what we were saying was not personal. We would only get personal and make jokes about the players after they were out of here. When there's no longer a tie and there's no longer anything, hey, you can go off. Knock yourself out. But when they're rocking that logo, when they're under that banner, got to be careful, man. You have to be careful. I'm telling you. Griffin Gaming says, why do I feel like I know who Reason is referring to right now when he's bringing up the PR angle? Because you probably do. So, I mean, listen, even Jerome Baker, what will you hear me say about Jerome Baker? What will you always hear me say about Jerome Baker? I don't like Jerome Baker, the player. I like Jerome Baker, the person, from what I've seen, but I don't know him. I don't make it personal. Name a player on this team I've made it personal about. I made it personal with Byron Jones this year because I knew. Who was the one telling y'all all year? Before we went to our bye, I told you. If I told y'all what the deal was, no one been more on point than Byron Jones and I have in telling y'all how it's going to work out and what the situation was about the guaranteed money and everything. That's why I knew I could take the gloves off. That's why I knew I could say what I could say about Byron Jones. Because I knew what the situation was. I knew he wasn't coming back. I knew the bridges had been burnt. Of course, it's the same thing. Why do you think Big O started popping off on Flores so hard? Because Big O knew what was the hammer that was coming down. Why do you think leading into that season I was telling everyone and I was warning everyone about what was going on with Flores? Because I knew if this season didn't go well, the hammer was coming down. Right? You got to know and pick and choose. You got to pick and choose and know when you can get your spots in. You don't just start flying off the rails on guys who are going to be here for freaking 4 years or 5 years. That just doesn't work, man. You're going to get, boo! They're going to see you, they're going to ping you, and it's a wrappy. That's how it works, man. Trick of the trade. There you go. Y'all learned something. Listen to Reason if you want to start a channel. So, hey. And the stuff that's being said about the quarterback on these clickbait channels right now, on these other random channels that came out of nowhere and by YouTube, enjoy it. The worst thing you could ever do with any franchise is bury yourself with a player, let alone the quarterback. Worst thing you can do. Worst thing you can do. Worst thing you can do. And you will not bury them if you're honest in your critiques. It's when you start making it personal. When you start trolling, when you start making it personal, when you start getting clickbaity over him. That's what, and that's a, listen, just like the quarterback shoulders the blame when you lose or win, he's not the, you don't want to get on the bad side of a franchise's quarterback. You just don't. That's like the last player you probably want to piss off. And I've called players trash before, but TE's right. No player's trash that they've made. No athlete who's made it to a professional level is trash. Sure, there's guys where I'll call them trash based on their play I've seen recently, but at the end of the day, I shouldn't even say that because TE is right. None of these guys are trash. Like, you can say they're not good professional football players because now that they're at the professional level, they're not as good as they were in college or whatever the case may be is. Okay, that's valid. But you can't make it to the pros in any sport, not just football, in any sport and be trash. You just can't. Now, you can say he's not a good professional player. He didn't develop into a good professional player. That's cool. But you really can't be trash to get, I mean, only 53 people make a a roster in the NFL and there's 32 teams. Do the math. Josh Hart says, Nolly, hey, you can call players a bust. That's fine. That's not really like a if they're showing they're a bust, hey, they're a bust. What are you going to say? What are you going to do? Right? So, it is what it is, man. I'm just telling y'all what it is. So, hey, believe it or not, I'll sleep fine tonight. All right. Yeah, I am dropping gems right now because, people need to know what the deal is. I see people spewing absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And I see people trying to say, we make excuses for Tua. All that. What are you talking about? All the context we've done in our film studies. Oh, slap me silly and call me Sally. Look at how everything we said needed to happen for Tua would turn Tua into potentially a franchise quarterback. And look at, lo and behold. Fix the O-line a bit. Gave him some weapons to throw to. Fix the offensive staff. Gee golly whiz. That's not making excuses for Tua. That's context when I break down the film. And lo and behold, I ended up being right. Ball game ended up being right. Who didn't even, ball game did like 3 breakdowns this year because he was busy. But Martin ended up being right too. We all ended up being right on what needed to be added and what needed to be surround this kid for us to get a really good gauge on his ceiling and what he could be in the NFL. And lo and behold, he gave us top 5 numbers on top of us grasping up what his ceiling can be. It's what happens when you know how to watch film. Know what to look for. Notice what happens. See, this is my issue. We got people out here talking about the quarterback position. They don't know how to break down film. They never played the position, but they speak on it like they're authorities. They've never coached at any high level, but they speak on it like they're authorities. In what world? In what world? So what? Because you go watch a couple surgeries live on TLC or live on YouTube, all of a sudden you can judge a surgeon. You all of a sudden you know what it takes to be a good brain surgeon. Because I know I'd sit back there and be like, man, I'm out of my depth. But I played the position up until college. I know how to break down film. And I'm not calling myself an authority on the position because there's a ton of people way smarter than me that do it, i.e. Kurt Warner for one. But at least I have a resume and a foundation. And I have a track record on top of that of being right. But we got people out here speaking on the position like they know what they're talking about. Never played it, don't know how to properly break down film. Some of them don't even break down film. In what world? Seriously, in what world? Stop. And it all comes back down to egos. People can't admit they're out of their depth. People can't admit their knowledge is limited and they only know so much. It's unbelievable. I don't get it. In what world? What fantasy land are we living in? Holy, do gumdrops fall when it rains in this fantasy land? Are the avenues made of candy cane? Are the light posts made of chocolate? What happens in this fantasy land? Do unicorns go prancing along? Like, what happened? And some of y'all that even listen to this nonsense. And then all of y'all that regurgitated are the worst of it all. The worst. Regurgitating stuff from people who don't know what they're talking about. What do you think that makes you look like? An even bigger idiot. It's just, what world, man? Man, when I started this, we go back to when we started this channel, me and EM wanted to make this fan base, one of the smartest fan base, if not the smartest fan base in the NFL, and I look around and I see some of these people, and good God, as little hope as there is for the world right now, there's just as much for that goal for me and EM with this community. It's unreal. That's why I appreciate the ones, and they don't all come here, but that's why I appreciate the ones who know what they're talking about. Even if they don't like Tua. See, that's another misconception. Oh, well, I don't like Tua, so stay away, avoid Resign, blah, 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 blah. Bro, I don't care if you don't like Tua. But if you don't like Tua, and we're going to say Tua's all these things, then you better have the facts and the evidence and the film work to back that. If you're just going to come up and spew, I don't like Tua, and you're going to give vague answers, lacking basis, lacking reasoning, lacking some real in-depth analysis, then yeah, that's going to be an issue. But if you give an in-depth analysis, if you give some film work, as to why you don't like Tua, I don't care. I don't care if you don't like Tua or you like Tua. In fact, I want to hear good in-depth analysis of why they don't like Tua. I'm sick of hearing the same stuff. The stuff that makes no sense. When I hear the word mid or average or can't throw deep. The stuff that literally has been so disproved. We had the number 2 passing attack and the 6th overall offense this year with no running game. Why do you think that was? He was in the MVP conversation for 80% of the season. You can't be average or mid and do that. I'm sorry, you just can't. Now, if you want to talk about his availability, and that's why you don't like Tua, and that's why, what have I said? Who am I to argue you? You have a point. No one can argue. His availability is an issue. 110%. But when we start getting into the ability conversation, that's when I'm going to ask for some receipts. The ability conversation needs to come with evidence and backing now. The availability one doesn't. Because we all know what the deal is on that. Right? But the ability conversation, you just can't get away with saying he's mid, he's average, especially if I'm around. Not going to fly. See, the problem is, you know why people avoid me? I don't put up with lazy. I don't put up with low football IQs. I need answers. I want answers. I want to hear. I'm like, sure, well, we can have a spirited debate. Man, if people have heard of me and EM Dolphin fan and some of our debates, we've been yelling at the top of our lungs to the point our wives have looked at us like, are you too crazy? But 2 minutes later, conversation didn't even happen. And that was just a disagreement about football. We move on. You know what? Because we're men. We don't let football opinions and conversations about players we're never going to meet in, well, I can't say that. But you know what I mean? Players we're never going to have, well, I can't even say that because you never know what's going to happen. But players that are not impacting our life any way whatsoever impact our life to that extent. And the people who do allow that, bro, y'all are crazy. You know, I see some of y'all sit up and bash this guy on your Twitter spaces, on your YouTube panels for hours on end. We're talking like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hours. Bro, but then y'all have the audacity to call everyone else ears. Bro, y'all talk about it more than we do. The people that believe in him, and you know why? I know why. Because the position that's seen the most on the television is the quarterback position. It's the easiest thing for someone with low-hanging fruit or low football IQ to spend the most amount of time on. Right? Am I wrong? No. See, when I tune in to hear people talk about football, I want to hear in-depth analysis. I want to hear schematic talk. I want to know they know what they're talking about. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them. but valued opinions and valuable opinions and opinions with some depth to them mean a whole lot more than surface, vague opinions. Just saying. So again, if you don't like Tua, I got no problem with you or that. But if we're ever going to have that conversation, just bring the in-depth reasoning and evidence as to why. And we can have a conversation about it or a debate about it if you want to have. But after that debate, after that conversation, it ends there. I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm not here to influence anyone and how they feel. I'm here to give my opinion and to lay out the facts as I seen them and to be as objective as possible. And just because I believed the kid's ceiling when I objectively broke down his film, if that makes me a Tua-neer, maybe you're just too big of a Tua hater and you can't stand the fact that anyone else believes in the kid. And rant. All right. Now. Ooh, that was a long one, eh? Let's get into... I want to do something today. We're going to do 5 players the Dolphins should keep, cut, and let walk. And then on top of that, I want to go over... what did I want? I want to go over something else as well. Oh, yeah. I want to go over... the best ESPN, they came out with an article and they went on about the best fits for the Dolphin, for every team in free agency. And what's crazy to me was when you look at what they added, we might not even break it down, but when you look at what they did, I mean, they didn't give us guard. They didn't give us no one in the topsies there by any stretch whatsoever. I mean, their best fit for us, and I'll just talk about it instead of showing it. Their best fit for us was Miles Sanders in free agency. Like, please. And we're shy. I gotta see. This is what we gotta do. See, and I know this is from someone listening to someone else. This is what bugs me, man. I gotta always Listen. Tua goes through his reads, bro. What are we talking about right now? Like, seriously. What are we talking about? Put on the Detroit tape. My lord. Like, Tua goes through his reads. I don't understand this. Tua goes through his reads. There's no issue with Tua. Tua's problem when he starts forcing a first read or a second read, a lot of that has to do with him forcing the play. Right? When something happens, i.e., if we have an offensive turnover and we get the ball back and the other team scored and he feels like he's got to do something, that's when he might force the first or second read. But you watch Tua has no problem. Tua's lightning quick going through his reads too. We've heard many coordinators and coaches talk about it this year. Tua goes through his reads. The only time you'll see him force first reads is if he feels like he has to force a play. That's the only time you'll see him struggle with that. Get into this. All right, let's get into 5 players the Dolphins should keep, cut, and let walk. Let's start off with the keep. This is what let's get into this. So for keeping, these are the 5 players that I think the Dolphins should keep. I do think they should bring back Nick Needham. He's got ability. They've been cross-training him at safety, and he can also fill in at the slot and on the corner. The boundary. So we saw really, and what's crazy is, heading into the season, I said, I didn't like our corner depth. If bodies started going down, it's not good. All right, it's fixed. It's good. So, so I do think you need to bring Needham back, and I don't think he's going to break the bank. So I would look into bringing Nick Needham back. Now, Melvin Ingram, I think you can bring him back on a cheap deal. I don't think he's going to break the bank. And listen, I would understand why people don't, I could see why people might not want to bring him back because of his age and, you know what I mean? And the production kind of dipped a little bit at the end there. But for me, with Melvin Ingram, I do think, you can never have enough edge rushers. And I do think Fangio can use him a lot better than Boyer did. So I think we could get even more out of Melvin Ingram. Salvin Ahmed, notice all these options are cheap. Salvin Ahmed, I do think needs to be brought back. Now, will he be brought back? I don't know. Listen, I think him or Mostert will be brought back. I do think him or Mostert will be brought back. And for me, younger, I was very interested. Man, he did some good stuff. You know what I mean? He did some real good stuff with them near the end of the season when they gave him the ball a little bit. So, I think, man, I think that would be a good move. Remember McDaniel drafted him, right? And it was the first move they made last year was they tendered him, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, right? Now, Sherfield, you got to bring back Trent Sherfield. I think he is way too much of an important piece. I like what he's doing, man. I'm really interested, really interested to see how this goes. I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see how Sherfield goes. How much money is he going to ask for? Is he going to ask for more than $3 or $4 million? He was a key contributor for us this year. I'd love to bring him back. Again, cheap, right? Now, a contract that was voided, I believe on the 19th, was Eric Fisher. And I think they need to bring him back for some depth. Now, he hasn't played right tackle since 2015, 2013. 2015, he was rotating. 2013, he was a rookie, and he played the majority of his snaps there, I believe. Majority left tackle for the time here in the NFL. But, depth. They voided it. There's depth. Bring him back for the veteran minimum. Veteran minimum. That's what I would bring him back. Bring back Eric Fisher on the vet min. If you add up all the players there, right? Needham, Ingram, Ahmed, Sherfield, Fisher, that's less than $15 million probably for those 5 players. Right? So, that's who I would be. That's what I'd be inclined to do. That is definitely what I would be inclined to do. Now, let's get into players the Dolphins should cut. All right? Okay, all right. Players to cut. Byron Jones. I mean, that ain't a secret. You can trade whatever it is. If it's going to be trade or cut, post June 1st. If you post June 1st, Byron Jones. Now, if you cut him, you save $13.6 million. You eat $4.75 million. If you trade him, you save $13.6 million. You eat $4.751 million. All post June 1st designations. I'll take the $13 million. Thank you very much. Please. That is what I would be down for. Please, 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 please. All day. So, man, Byron, thank you for your contribution, but we need the cap space. I mean, he almost puts us even. We're $16.377 million, right? With him, man, all of a sudden, we're only $3 million under the cap. So, number 2 for me, Ethan Carter. It doesn't really add much when you cut him. You save $2.32 million if you cut him. Him and Byron Jones put us over basically put us dead even at the cap. Ethan Carter's just not a contributing factor. Let's move on. Noah Benogany. And I have it in brackets. You got to trade him. I would trade Noah Benogany for a bag of footballs at this point. Everyone's sitting here, well, maybe Fangio can turn him around. Stop this. If you trade him, you save $2.144 million. You eat 1.4, but still, I'll take the $2 million save. Thank you very much. Noah Benogany, I just don't see it. What's the point? What is the point, right? You tell me. Cedric Wilson Jr. Again, trade. If you trade him pre-June 1st, you save $6 million. You eat $2 million in dead cap. If you trade him post-June 1st, you save $7 million and eat $1 million in dead cap. Sorry, Cedric. You got to go. You got to go. And another name on this list, let's be honest with ourselves. We're not, listen, Lester Cottontail. Sorry, Lester Cotton. My apologies. What are we doing here? Really, what are we doing here? Okay? We need better upgrades. And a guy like Lester Cotton should not even be getting on the field. Okay, you cut him, you save your million. Save the million. A guy like that should... If we got to come to a guy like that coming on the field, my Lord. Just like it was last season. See, and I agree, T. Cedric is... Cedric is good, but, not good here. I want that money. Because I feel like two things would have happened last year if we knew we were getting Tyreek. Cedric Wilson wouldn't have been signed. Gesicki wouldn't have been tagged. If we knew we were getting Tyreek, neither one of those would have happened. So, again, you got to give a shout out to Chris Greer and Brandon Shore and how they've structured these deals. My Lord, we can get out to Cedric right away. Right away. Oof. And while you're at it, you might as well extend Connor Williams because you save about $4.3 million if you extend Connor Williams this offseason. Just saying. All right. Now, we've gone the cuts. Who should we let walk? And there's some names that are really hard to swallow here. Andrew Van Ginkel. Gotta let him walk. We got Listen, I can go get Ingram. Sure, he's not Andrew Van Ginkel. I agree. Andrew Van Ginkel at this stage, I like him better than Melvin Ingram. But Andrew Van Ginkel is going to be asking for some serious money here. Okay? And are we really going to be that team? I mean, let's look at what he's going to be looking for right here. Andrew Van Ginkel, let's jump over here. Go to Spot Track. Right here, should have his market value, I think. If I go under contract details. Career earnings. It doesn't have his market value. But I digress. Andrew Van Ginkel. I'll keep trying to look for a market value here. I'm not. But, you know, I don't think it has his. Here, let me see here. See if I can pull it up. If I can pull it up, I'll put it on screen for you. Give me 1 sec here. Free agency NFL. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I don't think they have his market value here. But, you know, it's going to be, like, I think he's going to get decent money. You know, I think he's going to get north of $6 million. I know that. I just don't see us paying it, man. And it sucks. But I'm a huge Van Ginkel fan here, but it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. And, man, it's tough because a guy we've groomed and we've watched grow here, and, you know, he's going to have to walk. That's a tough one to me. Gesicki's not tough. Andrew Van Ginkel to me is a tough one that they're going to have to let walk. I'm a fan of this kid. You know, I really am. I think he showed a lot of growth with us. He showed a lot of promise with us. You know, I'm a fan of the kid. You know, I'm a fan of the man, too. He seems like a really good dude. But, you know, it is what it is. He's going to have to walk. And it's tough, man. It really is. Like, it's, you know, I know ball game. It's tough for ball game because I know ball game is absolutely huge fan of Andrew Van Ginkel, right? And so, and I think that's a guy they should have given a shot trying on the interior. So, number 2 for me, Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki, I'm sorry. It is what it is. You just were not the blocker we needed. They should have never tagged you. They probably should have. Yeah, I can see AVG getting over $8 million a year for sure. Mike Gesicki, you're gone. I mean, you know, you really only shined with Tua here when bodies dropped. If bodies didn't drop, he didn't really shine. Teddy Bridgewater, we need a better upgrade than you. We need someone we can trust that's going to come in and win games. And Teddy, listen, we already got availability issues with Tua. We just can't sit around and deal with you right now. Eric Rowe, it seems like the game, you know, it seems like the game is starting to pass his body by, slowing down, and he's just not the same player he was a couple years ago. So Eric Rowe, you're going to have to let him walk, and that's why I say safety is going to be such a need for us, because even depth-wise, even if they want to roll with Brandon Jones and Verone McKinley, we still need more depth. And then Jeff Wilson, listen, Mostert didn't really teeter off near the end of the year. Jeff Wilson did. And I think I said earlier Mostert did, but I retract that. I meant Wilson. Wilson really teetered off by the end of the year, right? Now, here's the thing with me. With the draft, if Wilson goes and they bring back like Achman and Mostert, I could see them trying to find a Wilson-like body. Now, if they bring a guy like Wilson back or they bring in a guy with Wilson's frame, then I could see them trying to find a Mostert type of back, in the draft or free agency. So depending on what body type they go with, I could see them going the other way in the draft, right? So that'll be interesting to see how that all works out. You know what I mean? So heavy stuff, man. Heavy stuff. And a couple other things today too. I know there was rumblings I heard that the Dolphins they were interested in Jalen Ramsey at the trade deadline this past season, and they checked in on Jalen Ramsey at the trade deadline because of our injuries at corner. PFF, they did an interesting article, and their article was 5 trades to watch out for in the NFL offseason. And the one that they posted here, interestingly enough, was Jalen Ramsey to the Miami Dolphins. Now, I was asked earlier about Jalen Ramsey here. Would they spend money on corner like that? Man, I don't know. I think they would spend the money on safety and linebacker first, but you never know. But trade compensation, they got the Rams sending a 5th, and they acquire a 2nd and a 4th, a 2nd in 2023 and a 4th in 2024. And then the Dolphins take on Jalen Ramsey and acquire his contract of 3 years of $55 million, with 12.5 of that $55 million still guaranteed. And they go on to say the Dolphins have been among the most aggressive teams in the NFL over the past few off seasons, notably trading first-round picks for wide receiver Tyreek Hill and edge defender Bradley Chubb over the course of the 2022 season. Why stop there? Despite the Dolphins already dealing with a handful of big contracts, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa will be on the 4th year of his rookie deal in 2023 and the Miami can clear a ton of space with obvious restructures and cuts. A notable cut that would likely be a precursor to this move is the Dolphins moving on from cornerback Byron Jones, who missed the entire 2022 campaign and whose release, if designated a post-June 1st release, could clear $13.6 million in cap space. Ramsey played college football at Florida State and began his career with the Jaguars of Jacksonville, so he continues his football journey back in Florida with new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. Fangio's zone-heavy defensive scheme has already proven to be a great fit for Ramsey, with Fangio disciple Brandon Staley coaching Ramsey with the Los Angeles Rams in 2020. Fangio could deploy Ramsey as a star in the defense with Xavier Howard staying out wide. That would allow the Dolphins to get most out of Ramsey in the slot, down in the box, and really all over the formation. Ramsey's 90.6 coverage grade over the past 3 seasons ranks 2nd. It's his cumulative 90.6 coverage grade over the past 3 seasons ranks 2nd amongst cornerbacks, and his 91.2 run defense grade ranks 1st. His 80.3 coverage grade from the slot over the past 3 seasons is 5th. There are a lot of elite young quarterbacks in the league right now, but Ramsey still holds the crown as the best defensive back in the NFL as of today. Newly inducted Hall of Fame cornerback Darrelle Revis was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 1st and conditional 4th-round picks entering his age 28 season, where he then signed what was effectively a 1-year deal for $16 million. Here, Ramsey is traded for 2nd-round picks entering his age 29 season, 3.5 years after the Rams acquired him for 2 first-round picks. I mean, do I hate it? No. Do I see it happening? I think Ogba would need to go too. Notice how I didn't have Ogba on my list, right? Because I am intrigued about how he can shift on that defensive front in Fangio. But Ogba cannot stick around if you're bringing in a Ramsey contract. And then you can't get a big contract at linebacker or at safety. You're going to have to not penny pinch, but you're going to have to be smart with your money at those positions, especially if you're going to continue to upgrade the offensive line in the running back room. You're going to have to be smarter with your money, right? I think we only got enough money for one defensive splash, right? And by splash, I mean like a big ticket item, a big ticket player, and then, a bunch of good players behind that, lower cost players that are good and can get the job done. So, I'm a fan of Jalen, though. I'm a fan of Jalen. So, do I hate it? No. Do I see it happening? That's a rough one for me. That's a little bit of a stretch. So, we'll see. Shout out Jones for Ramsey and a third, says Aldo. Listen, I don't know if that's gonna if they're gonna want to take on Jones, because Jones is gonna want more guaranteed money. He's gonna want a new contract. Byron Jones has no guaranteed money left on his current deal. So wherever he goes, he's gonna want new money. That was the whole holdup with us. He was willing to come back if we put new money on the table, which obviously we did not, right? So, we'll see how that works out. An interesting thing too, Bleacher Report, they did NFL trade packages to create the next great defenses. Now, they did not have a trade package for us, but they had a player that we traded, and that was Byron Jones to the Arizona Cardinals. Dolphins receive a third-round pick. The Arizona Cardinals finished 21st in ESPN's defensive efficiency, but they might not be as far from fielding elite defense as it would seem. Anyways, et cetera, et cetera. It gets into them fielding Byron Jones. The reason why I wanted to bring this up to you guys is we ain't getting a third pick for Byron Jones. Me and Neil were basically laughed at by people we know when we assumed we could get like a 5th-round pick for him. He killed us last year. Byron Jones hurt his value. Everyone knows he wants money. He didn't put out any new tape. And everyone's got questions about, is he still okay from the Achilles injury? Those 3 factors do not equate to a 3rd-round pick. And I applaud Bleacher Report for their optimism, but it's not happening. We are not getting Byron Jones for that low of a pick. It's just not happening. So, that's what the deal is. So, we'll see how it works out. But, listen, I don't think we're getting much for Byron Jones. I think, let's hypothetically say Minnesota wanted him and they were willing to package Dalvin Cook to us. I think we'd have to package Byron Jones with a pick. I don't think it would be like a straight swap. I think you'd have to add a pick to it. So, and, I see what Eric's saying. The problem is, Eric, you can't keep him. He doesn't want to be here if there's no new money on the table. That's the problem. There's no new money on the table. So they're not going to he's not going to want to play. And it's what John said. He was a Flores guy, right? People forget. You remember the shot? I bring it up all the time, but some of y'all might not have ever heard it before. You remember the shots he took at Xavier Howard last year in last offseason? Not this one that passed, but the one before it, when X was holding out for more money. You remember the shots? I wouldn't be holding out for more money. I'm paraphrasing, but he said something to the effect of, I wouldn't be worried about holding out for more money. I'd be coming here to teach the young kids and be a leader. Well, how the tables have turned, Byron. All right? So, and quite frankly, if you would have been healthy this year and you would have played for us this year, we probably could have added another win to that column because our defense and our secondary would have been in some better shape. He knew his value. He held out for more money, and we didn't budge to the point where, Neil heard, and he told me they were checking in on Jalen Ramsey during the trade deadline. So we'll see how all that works out. I'll be live tomorrow night, me, Richmond Webb, Mr. Ballgame. And then I'll be live on Thursday with Neil Driscoll. Friday, guys, we'll be live. Top 10 free agent targets and honorable mentions. I got 20 free agent targets. All 22 for the top 10 players. We're going to go through. I'm going to tell you why they fit, why I like them, their market value, what's expected, etc., etc. So be on the lookout. Friday, I'll be live for that video. Hope y'all can tune in for that one because a lot of work's being put into that one. So be out on the lookout. Over 450 of you in the room still. Smash that like button. Subscribe on your way out. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through. I love each and every one of you. Have a fantastic Tuesday. I will see y'all tomorrow. We're live every night this week, so be out on the lookout. I'll be live tomorrow. Appreciate each and every one of you. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed rest of your day. Have a blessed evening. Have a blessed night. And I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, or tomorrow evening. As always, you already know what time it is.